Good morning, Mike and Arlene, our Philippine journey. Thank you so much for dropping by. Hope you guys are doing well. As I said in the past, we're changing the channel just a little bit. I want to start focusing on events in your home countries that may impact your expat status, your future expat status, how you're perceived as an expat in other countries. You know what? There's a reason for it. Bear with me for just a second. Let's go over it. Let's talk about it.
Why'd you have to go? I guess this world's too slow for you. I think there's beauty in the gray, the cold, but you just want the gold. And there's no way I can beat it, cause I got no chance when it comes to her. She got the glitter and the fame, and I just wasn't enough.
Okay. I'm going to make some comparisons here. I'm going to talk about some things, events that are happening in the U.S. that I think are going to have a huge impact or could have a huge impact on your status as an expat, on your future as an expat, and your plans as an expat. I think that, are very important. But you can boil this down, too, into what's going to happen if you don't leave your country, all right? Don't leave America. And I'm using America. I use the U.S. as this basis because the majority of the people that watch this channel are Americans. I look at the statistics, the analytics, they're Americans. But at the same time, I see how it applies to others. And today, we're going to be talking about why we chose to do this and why it is things are heading in the wrong direction. So, the first thing we'll take a look at is that what is the fear? And my biggest fear, my really and truly biggest fear is America heading down this same rabbit hole, this cesspool that England has run itself down into, okay? And I'm not knocking England by any way, shape, or means. I'm not. But I mean, if you look at what's happening in England, all right, and I'm just, England itself, if you look at that, and then you look at what is transpiring in the U.S., how we may fall into that same category, it's a problem. Then you have to look at how it affects perception of you and your nationality as an expat when you're overseas. I think that's important as well. All right? So, let's just take a look at this, for instance. All right, this guy right here. Well, actually, this is him. All right, Moreno. He's a U.S. senator. Okay, now he's proposing, Bernie Moreno. He's proposed and put forth a bill that says if you're going to have American citizenship, you have to let go of your other citizenship. You can't have citizenship in two different countries. America has always allowed you to do this, as have many other countries. All right. Now, I will put a link below to the actual bill that I'm going to show you in a second, but it's not the bill itself. All right. It's not that this moron is doing this. It is really and truly, what happens here? Why would people want to give up their home country citizenship just to get American citizenship? And many of you will not like what I have to say. Some of you will agree, but many of you won't. But is America so arrogant? Are Americans so entitled that we think that if you're going to live in America, if you're going to be an American, if you're going to get citizenship in America, you shouldn't be a citizen anywhere else. I find that just ridiculous. I honestly do. And I find it incredibly bad for the future. And here's why. All right, what about all of these legal immigrants to America who went through the process of becoming a U.S. citizen, that they live in America, they work in America, they pay taxes in America, they produce employment in America? You know, what about them? What happens? What truly happens? Are we going to say, no, you got to be an American. You can't be like a Filipino nurse, a nurse that's gone through years of training, all right, that is fulfilling a job that absolutely America needs, all right? They have a shortage of nurses still. Good nurses are even more of a shortage, and yet we're going to give them a choice. Either renounce your Filipino citizenship or go home. Well, I don't know, but I would think the Philippines would not like that. I would think the Philippines would say, wait a minute, little Susie there, she sends $10,000 U.S. remittance to her family in the Philippines. And she's busted her ass to become a U.S. citizen and to provide care for your patients and everything else. And now the country is going to lose that money and that resource and everything that goes with it, all right, because she's going to renounce her citizenship. That's not right. There'll be animosity, a lot of animosity, and you as an expat living in this other country that's being singled out, or not being singled out because it would apply to every country, but you would be subject to this heightened sense of awareness. You'd be like, there's an American, and his country is kicking Filipinos out unless they become Americans, that they can only be Americans. This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. This is the bill itself that he wrote. I'm not going to go through it. I'm going to put the link below. I think it's invaluable that you take a look at it. But that's the kind of thing that I think is stupid. Are we becoming, is America going to become like England? Take a look at England, for instance, all right? England used to be, there was a time, all right? And I'm sure that some of our British friends will shoot me down for not being 100% in depth over these things, but it was the number one global economic superpower of the world, all right? It really and truly was at one point in time. It was the number one global military superpower in the world. Now, they're rated anywhere between the 5th and the 7th in both categories. All right, it's U.S., China, India, and it goes down. England blocks in there somewhere around, depending on which survey you look at in the 2025 numbers, somewhere around 5th or 6th, because of immigration, because of social programs. We are seeing, England is experiencing, and the U.S. too. Now, and again, I am not saying something negative about England at all right? What I am saying is that, are we going to end up in that same direction? For instance, we have terrible crime issues in the U.S. You can't admit, you can't deny it. You see it all the time. They have terrible crime issues in England. Now, what we see in England that we don't see in the U.S. yet, but it's certainly coming, is when the immigrants start creating crime in mass. All right? These massive protests that become very violent. This happens all over in England. There's plenty of news coverage about it. We don't see that in the U.S. We see Americans creating massive protests that become violent. But either way, are we going to become a nanny state to every other country? These are the questions that we want to go forward. Now, I want your opinions on this, but I think it's important to understand that how the world perceives us. I mean, I know that some people perceive Americans as being obnoxious, arrogant, loud, know-it-alls. The list goes on and on. And my reply to that is that I see that in every culture. I really and truly do. Is it wrong to voice an opinion? Is it wrong to have a different lifestyle? Is it wrong to do to try and put your point out? No, it's not. I don't really give a shit. I really and truly don't. All right, just like the British are known as to being the worst tourists in all of the UK, EU, Americans are known to be horrible as well. Snotty, there are all kinds of different things. All right, all kinds of stereotypes. Hey, you know what? Nobody is perfect. The people are gonna disagree with other people forever. But this comes back to the bottom line of is America going down this horrible rabbit hole? The amount of corruption, the high-end corruption in the United States has reached epidemic levels. The amount of corruption and lack of enforcement of the laws and judicial oversight has reached epidemic issues. I don't want to see my daughter end up in a negative situation in a country that I still believe very deeply in a country that I am proud to be an American. I don't want that. But as we see immigration fulfilling the voter rolls, and then the voter rolls are then changing communities, and those communities are then making impacts. Are those impacts positive and negative? All right. And there's something to be learned from every culture. We could learn from the British. We can learn from the French. We can learn from the South Koreans. We can learn from every culture. All right, from the Japanese, from the Philippines. We can learn from their cultures. Americans may seem to be arrogant. Americans may seem to be vociferous, all right? But at the same time, Americans have worked hard, just like every other culture has worked hard. I don't want to see America going down that route. But you that still have ties to the U.S., you that still have lives in the U.S., what are you seeing? Are you seeing that immigration and community activism is putting America on a second level in order to include these other societal issues? I don't know. I think this is the first of many of the future pieces where we're going with this, where politics, where laws, where corruption in the U.S. are changing our country. And I think it's a negative issue. I don't know. Your thoughts? Tell me what you think. I don't know. Otherwise, we hope you have a great day. And no matter where you are, We hope you're safe. Take care.